A tale of two vans. We're going to do a comparative analysis, real quick and dirty, of living in a minivan versus a custom van. Dodge, Chrysler, they're both Chrysler products, for a no-build type situation. No-build van, live-in, bug-out vans, whatever you want to call it. Hello, this is Greg Allison with Green Greg's coming to you from the high desert of northern Arizona. My friends, I've been living in these vans since the entire last half, summer, fall, and of 2023, and pretty much the last four or 5 months of 2024. The van life has become pretty normal for me because of I'm in the process of building a tiny home and just getting this property prepared, and didn't really have any other place to stay, and I sold my property in Alabama. So let's have a quick and dirty talk about these vans. There are comparative there's to know about them. For one, a minivan is larger, it can be more accommodating, but being larger and heavier, it's going to take a lot more fuel to run it, so it's going to be more expensive to operate. And a little bit more, still, both of them are pretty stealthy. I mean, you could basically park anywhere, nobody would know you're camping out in it unless you got lights on inside or, you know, making noise and racket. Nobody would know. You could definitely stealth camp out in both of them. People really don't suspect you in a smaller vehicle to be living in it. So that's another way that you could hide and do stealth camp out, the smaller the vehicle. Now, a lot of people go in really small vehicles, but it is challenging. This vehicle, they're both old beat up vehicles. I prefer older vehicles because even though they do require a lot of maintenance, I'm not kidding you not, still with maintenance included, if you are judicious and got the right people helping you on that, or you're able to do your own maintenance, you will find, at least for me, that the cost of maintaining these vehicles is tremendously lower than buying a new vehicle by a long shot, even tremendously lower than buying a 2-year-old vehicle. So a lot of people say that's the best values to buy a 2-year-old vehicle. I don't know, I save a lot of money. I got a friend who is spending almost a house payment between her insurance and her vehicle price for something that's going to be shot in, 10 years. So that's kind of nutty to me. But anyway, but that's what some people like, and a lot of ladies, they like the security of knowing that they're not going to have a breakdown. I get it, but the cool thing about this van is being smaller and more economical. It's also more nimble. It's faster. I can maneuver better. I can park it in places a lot easier than I can a bigger van. So it gives me a lot of flexibility and just being on the road. In some ways, it's more comfortable and more fun to drive. But it is more challenging to set up inside. Now, what I also found, this is a hatchback. This is a 2003 Chrysler Town and Country. The other van over here is a 1998. Yeah, from the 1900s, way back in the 1900s. This is a 1998 Dodge Ram van, B1500. I got another Dodge Ram van. It's a 1993 over there. I don't know, in some ways I kind of like that one better, but I chose to live in this one, just do the electrical connections. I got that out in the desert, and I got another van over there out in the desert. Just got them out here. So I got some redundancy that way. And that's one good thing if you got older vehicles, maybe to have more than one for redundancy in case you are getting one worked on or getting an issue with it. But one of the things with this vehicle is that it's got an external plug on it. This was made as a camping vehicle, and you can see I use this plug when I'm near a generator or a power source, and I do have a generator here, so I can use that to run heaters and lights and computers inside. But I also have a solar panel on top. It's one of those little 100-watt solar Harbor Freight solar panels. If you really want to use it for anything other than charging your phone or running a couple lights they give you, you need to put an inverter on it. I've got an inverter. The inverter enables me to run laptops, and that's about it during the daytime, maybe a hotspot. So if you look at it inside, this is no build. I just took it as it was and threw things in here. That is how I approached this, and I did it with that because I'm a guy in a big hurry, except for putting the solar on that. That was the one exception. And we have a little kitty cat in here. Things are a little bit messy. So I've got storage in the back. I just pile things up. I've got a bed here. I've got a makeshift cabinet here. I got some computers you can see, working personal computers. And I don't want to show what's on the floor because YouTube might give me might not like it. So, got my backpack for my computer stuff. I got a bug out bag in the back, got tools and things in here. I'm putting stuff underneath the bed here, tools. I got a jackery here. There's the battery, the charge inverters right there. Things are kind of piled up in here. But anyway, I didn't build shelves in the back and all that stuff, but I have piled stuff back in. It kind of works, but it's kind of janky. But one of the things about this van is it's tight. For some reason, this van is a lot tighter than the other one. Mice never get in here. The problem with the other van is if I'm not using it, in a day or two, mice will be invaded. There's my other cat. There's Freddy cat. The little one was Smokey. So, this van is more subject to mice. Now, in spite of the fact of being more nimble and cost-effective to drive around, you can see I did make my same kind of power situation for this. I just took a power cord and wrapped it around the mirror here and ran it into here. And this shuts. I'm not getting any water or anything coming in, so that's pretty tight, although it's kind of rough on the power cord, but it's really tight in there. So, this was a no-bill van too. There's no seats in this one. That back seat in the big van here has got a motor to raise it up and down, but that takes up a lot of, all the structure for that takes up a lot of room under the seat, which could be used for storage. So if I had the time, I'd tear all that out and build a bed. But I got other priorities. I'm trying to build a tiny home out here. So I'm not maximized what I could do with any of these vans. Like I said, so I'm just doing a no-build approach to be able to get by. What you will find with this van, unfortunately, is that due to the hatchback, and maybe also just a looser construction of some type, this van gets, I'm in the desert. Now for driving up and down the streets in most locations or even roads that aren't too dusty, I'm sure this is perfect and fine. My biggest problem with this van is dust. The hatchback don't have a seal, I mean dirt. It builds up inside. I don't care if you got all the windows rolled up and everything, you're driving down the road, you're going to get caked with that stuff. Let me see if I can unlock this thing. I'll hit the unlocker button inside. I know my main door is unlocked. Be faster than doing a key. Driving area. She's kind of crude. Now this van, I pulled a lot of my stuff out of it because I was going to make a trip to Alabama on Christmas, and I did have a radiator problem with this thing here. I've got it fixed. But, so this van is not totally set up right now. But I'll give you an idea of what I had in here. It was pretty simple. I still have a cot in here. I just took the mattress off so the rats wouldn't rip it up. Put it in the tiny house. See all this dust and dirt? So this hatchback does have something of a seal, but of course it's broken, but it really don't work. It's not worth a dog because all this dust and dirt comes in. I had clothes stacked up in here, and I would take them to the laundromat and wash them. And in a day or two, they would look like I had been rolling in them out here in the dirt. This dust and dirt built up on everything. Now, I had several of these popped. Because I had several totes in here, I wouldn't really maximize them, being able to slide things underneath the cot, which is kind of a disadvantage, although I could have from the other end. I did have some stuff I slid in there, so I got a cooler, had a cot, and I had several of these totes in. So that was kind of my floor space over there. And I had clothes hanging from the hangers here, and things piled here similar to the back of the other van. And, I lived in this a few months, quite a few months actually, until just about a week, go right before Christmas when I transitioned to that van. I had to clean that van up because somebody did not close, it was working on the motor, did not close the hood over the engine and compartment inside, and rats took advantage of that and made a mess of that van. That really took me more than a day to clean that thing out, get it proper and clean to move into. So, that's one issue out here in the desert. You get a lot of these pack rats and mice and different things. So, I did have a lot of bags underneath here that I put some food and different things in. You can see they just got coated with dirt. I mean, I'm going to have to take all this out and wash it and wash the food items off, even though it's canned. I still wouldn't use it like it is, just no way. All that's got to be washed up real good. I'll sanitize it with alcohol. But that's the disadvantage of this. Now, some of the dirt actually comes in from the front through the ventilation system. I mean, it just comes in when you're driving down these desert roads. I think most of it's comes through this hatchback in the back, because this is where stuff would really get dirty. Even with a seal, it's just not that good. Maybe a better seal, newer seal might work better. That's a possibility. But I just found it that very disappointing. But the handle's great. It's a great handling vehicle. You can see all the junk in here. We got some umbrellas and a few things. I didn't take everything out because that stuff just needs cleaning up. I don't even want to take it out like it is. It just needs some serious cleaning. So that's kind of the comparative analysis. So to sum it up, you got a fast, nimble van here. It's low on cost, but you're really cramped in there. This vehicle gives you more room. It's a little bit more luxurious. You can put more stuff in it. It's tight, so I don't have that dust issue unless I leave the windows down when I'm driving by somebody, kicking up rooster tails as they're driving down the road, desert roads around here. But this vehicle, it has, for me, it's a lot more better to live in from just the standpoint of if you're not traveling a lot. Now, if you're on the road a lot and you want to save money, that's the way to go. If you're on highways, you're not going to have that dust problem. That's just because I'm out here in the desert, high desert. That's why I'm having these dust issues with this. If it wasn't for that, it'd be just fine. When I was in Alabama, I stayed in this. Now, downside is I needed to really come up with some kind of shades. I mean, there's a little bit of tinting on here, but the sun will still get you in here without. Now, I've tried various things, but using my hanging clothes and throwing a tarp over it. I just didn't have time to put it in the proper shades for this van. I was in a hurry. It's quick and dirty. So just something to think about, my friends. More could have been done with this. If you're doing a build situation, you can make it a lot nicer in here. There's a lot more you could do with it. People do live for years in smaller vehicles than this and wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So I got to say that, there's a lot of merit to living in a minivan, especially if you're doing a lot of driving. Save you a lot of money. I had a dream one time back when I was working at the Marshall Space Flight Center and just under a lot of stress. I dreamed that I just took off in an old minivan like this and just quit my job and left. And I dreamed I was spending all my time exploring, hiking, and fishing. And I dreamed I was having the time of my life. And you probably can do that. So just something to think about. I still may kind of take that up. I got a gray van on the other side. It's a little bit longer than this. For some reason, I don't know, there's a model year somewhere between 2000 and 2003 where they've shortened these vans and made them smaller. I like the older, bigger ones. I actually got better gas mileage with the older two I had than this one. But I bought another one and somebody stole it and messed it up. And I did recover the vehicle after some junkyard had tried to be a chop shop and started whacking on it. And it just, it just hasn't been the same since. So, hello, kitty. Hello, kitty. Hello, kitty. Hello, kitty. All right, guys. And hello, kitty down here. We don't want to ignore you. Brady cat. Brady cat and Smokey. That's my two cats. But anyway, why cats? Because there's rats. I remember talking about them earlier, mice. Oh, yeah, there's my porta potty. I tend to set it outside on occasions. As those can be somewhat aromatic, to say the least. Yeah, this thing's, when I had a transmission problem, transmission steam got up on the hood and caused all that paint to come off. It was looking a little better before that. So there we are, my friends. Just things to consider, points to ponder. Should you be looking for a way to bug out and live in a bug out van, or just have a van life episode of your own, just live in vans? A lot of people do that. I got a lot of choices for that. I got 4 vans on this property. I got one back in Alabama, a big long cargo van, and I got a bus. The ultimate would be to fix the bus up. Of course, the bus would be very expensive to fix up. I got the bus over there, and there's my 1-ton truck. I got a 2-ton truck down there hiding behind that enclosed trailer, which also could be fixed to live in. I'm planning to make a living room out of that trailer. I used to grow microgreens in it. So, or you could take a trailer, flat trailer like that, and build it up. a lot of choices if you want to do the van life or have a bug out van. A lot of choices available. And it don't have to be expensive or take a lot of time. That's the good news. You can buy these vans. I paid $400 for that van. But I got ripped off when I had a transmission problem in Houston later, so I wound up putting a lot more money in it. But it was a pretty good van when I bought it. Yeah, it needed a little work, but $400. This one, about that, about $1,000. You might pay $12. I mean, if you look around, you can get these things cheap, and you got to have a vehicle anyway, right? So most people do. So why not make it something you can either haul things in and use as a utility vehicle, or which is a van works for, or as a live-in vehicle. Oh yeah, I like my trucks. I got 2 trucks. My little truck's a 1-ton. So my little truck's a 1-tonner. And I got a 2-ton. So yeah, but look, I run a worm farm. I had a lot of cargo and things to haul, and I plan to put a little worm farm in out here. Maybe not as large scale as what I had, but I do plan to do that. So there you are. You can live in a van. You can do it cheap. It's probably cheaper than my tiny home option. You don't have to buy land. You don't have to pay rent. So that's your ultimate choice. I got a video on tiny home also. So my friends, you can get by it really cheap if you choose to do this. Now there's things to watch. There's a lot of videos on van life. Tons of them. Tons of channels totally devoted to it. I've done a few videos on it, but not many. I could have done a lot more. I can make a whole channel on that topic, except I don't plan to continue exclusively in a van life. Now I might fix up the bus. I may travel, so I'm sure I'm going to use these vans for living in down the road some, but nothing like I have in the last couple of years. Anyway, so with all that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Subscribe, bang that notification bell, and click all. And if you want some long-term food storage, check out prepwithgreg.com. Thank you for watching. Greg out.